Hey guys, my name is Christina,
My name is Brian, and welcome to What the F*** Did I Just Watch?
where every week we will be rolling a 26-face die that will determine the first letter of the movie we will watch this week.
The twist is that one of us, or both of us, have never seen the movie before.
So join us as we share our thoughts on the movie,
I mean, that's gonna be horrible, but yes, absolutely.
have a few laughs,
And discuss what the f*** we just watched.
Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting Friday premiere. I hate bringing
That
this
was
in.
too much.
Oh yeah, well now we're in. So
All right. Here we are.
hi. How are you doing?
You know, good.
Good.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Wonderful.
We went too long on that. So we just got done watching the movie for this week. But let me correct that. I just got done watching the movie for this week. Pans is always prepared.
Yep.
So we had briefly covered last week that we were going to that we were going to watch the New Mutants movie. We'd both had an interest. Well, I guess you'd already seen it, but I wanted to see it. We thought, what better way to bring it in since HBO has it available now?
Well, I hadn't seen it prior to watching it earlier today.
Okay.
And then watching it again with you.
I feel like I can't keep up with the movies that you have and have not seen.
Nah, this, as soon as this dropped on HBO Max, I put it in the list for us to do. Because I had an interest in it. So I didn't care if you did or not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen any of the new ones.
Well,
I mean,
you've seen Logan.
I say new, but they're not new.
Right. Okay, so you, for background, you've not seen X-Men Days of Future Past.
Mm-hmm.
You've not seen Apocalypse.
Correct.
And you've not seen Dark Phoenix.
Correct.
Okay.
I think I've seen bits and pieces while it's on TV, but I have no idea what's going on.
Okay. Well, for 2 out of the 3 of those I just listed, you're not missing anything.
Good to know.
Yeah. Days of Future Past is pretty good for X-Men. But yeah. So, as she said, this week we're covering New Mutants, which is streaming on HBO Max now. This did come out last year, 2020. It is starring Maisie Williams, Anya Taylor-Joy, Charlie Heaton, and Alice Braga. The budget for New Mutants was $67 million. The gross domestic earnings for this movie were 23.8. The IMDb score for this was 5.3, with Rotten Tomatoes being 35% and a 56% audience score. Do you agree with any of that?
I don't know. It's complicated. I see what they were trying to do with this movie, and I think that I really like Maisie. And so a part of me really wants to like it because she was in it, but it could have been done differently. There were a lot of little tweaks, I think, that could have been made for the movie altogether to be better. Because I see what they were trying to do. I just don't think that it read correctly.
Right.
So. And
you're watching Queen's Gambit right now, right?
Yeah.
So, that's Anya Taylor-Joy, right? Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like in the very beginning, I was like, her cheek. Oh, that's the chick from Gambit's game. Cool.
From Gambit's game.
From, what is it called?
Queen's Gambit.
That's the chick from Queen's Gambit. Okay.
Yeah, I believe it.
Anyways, I hate you. So, why did I say Gambit's game? Where does that even come from? Okay. Anyways, I'm here. I'm present. I'm exhausted. Let's do this. How did you favor with this movie?
That's a weird way to put it. I had extremely low expectations going in, just given everything that this movie has kind of been through in production and everything, which we can go into in a sec. And just given my feelings on the other X-Men movies, which are not good, in my opinion, I haven't had, I guess, the fondness even for the first 2 or 3 of them that a lot of people do. I think Hugh Jackman is great as Wolverine, but I think the movies are super inconsistent, except for their, like, shitty consistencies. Like everything that one does wrong, they don't correct in the next. And they just kind of like double down on it to me. So no, I didn't have huge expectations, but I was curious just given everything that has surrounded this movie and its production, and I thought it was okay. Like I don't think it was the shit show I was expecting. I think the first half kind of drags, but I do think it picks up in the last half hour ish. I mean, it's a relatively short movie. It's a little under an hour and a half pre-credits, and I was okay with it. I don't know that I would go out of my way to recommend it to anybody, but I mean, for me not having to like pay to go see it in a theater or anything, it was fine to just watch on my TV at home. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I do want to touch on some of the obstacles that this movie encountered in getting made, and it was supposed to come out in 2018. This was before Deadpool 2. This was before Dark Phoenix, and it was being billed as the first like superhero horror movie. The director like just really wanted all these horror elements in it, and he wanted it to be legitimately scary. I believe he actually wanted it to have an R rating and for it to actually be horror. But it tested very poorly with test audiences, and it was supposed to go back for reshoots and to add more horror elements. And
so they were just pushing for it to be more horror than it was anything. Like, did they send it back because they wanted it to fit more in that category?
I think for what it was being billed as this horror superhero movie, there are some like creepy moments that ended up in it, but it was not a horror movie.
Sure.
And I think that's just more the route that the director was envisioning.
Okay.
Is, a good R-rated scary movie, but that also ties into mutants and the X-Men universe that was being built.
Okay.
So
I didn't get that.
So it did not come out in 2018. It got pushed to an earlier date in 2019. Then it got pushed again later 2019. It's supposed to go early 2020. And obviously none of that happened. That was right around the time that Deadpool 2 was being slated to come out. X-Men Dark Phoenix was supposed to come out. So they did not want this one interfering with those two.
Okay.
As far as like their money went, as oversaturation of X-Men, right? So they pushed it back again, and that was around the time that Disney was acquiring Fox. So it was kind of up in the air whether Disney was going to actually fork over the money for reshoots for a movie that really did not tie into their whole Marvel Cinematic Universe at all. It was kind of rumored that they were going to go in and tweak it to where it could fit into the MCU. Obviously, they did not. And there was originally a post-credit scene that the director wanted in there that was going to set up the next movie. The New Mutants was supposed to be a trilogy. And he took that out because obviously it wasn't going to happen anymore. So it ended up dropping in theaters August of 2020 in the middle of coronavirus. So Disney just kind of wanted to put it out there. They really didn't have much advertising for it.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, I think the first weekend it made maybe 6 to 7 million, and then it quickly left theaters because theaters were shutting down. And I think the theaters that it was in were pretty scattered across the country because I know the ones here weren't open. So yeah, so now it dropped on HBO Max for everyone to see. And now we've seen it. Indeed. That was a long-winded history lesson.
No, it was interesting. I didn't know that. And so I didn't realize all the things that they kind of had to overcome to get this movie out, and that it still didn't do as well as they wanted it to.
No, I mean they never got to the reshoots that they wanted to, because I think by the time that they could actually feasibly do it, 2 years had passed. All of these actors had aged 2 years. And I mean, Maisie Williams alone she looks more like a kid in this movie than she does now.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, obviously we know her as Arya Stark, and you can see her growth on that show, even between seasons.
Yeah. So
it wouldn't have looked good.
Yeah, I agree. You want to drop it, Pants?
You want me to drop my pants? This isn't a visual podcast.
No, Pants. Drop the spoiler alert.
Oh, all right.
Spoiler warning.
And we're going.
All right, you heard her, guys. If you have not seen this movie.
Her.
Oh, man. Okay, anyways. For realsies. That's so stupid. All right, guys. So, as you just heard, if you have not seen this movie before and you want to watch it, listen no further to us.
Indeed. Go watch HBO Max.
Yep, and then come back.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need a subscription, Pants's is...
Nope.
Just kidding. So I did notice that in the beginning that it said associated with Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, but I don't know if that's the exact wording they use in all the Marvel movies, but I don't think it is.
No, so for anything outside of the MCU, but it's technically like a Marvel property, it'll say in association with Marvel Studios or something like that. But
it just felt like the stepchild.
Yeah. So
like right off the bat, that's the first thing I thought. I don't know why, but that's the first thing I thought.
Right, like the Venom movie had that. All the X-Men movies have that. Everything that's not MCU. So yes, that.
Yeah, it just felt like they had to be very direct about it. I get it. I do.
This was the last Marvel movie that has Stan Lee credited as an executive producer before he passed. Mm-hmm.
So the movie right off the bat starts off with Dani, who is she's awoken from her sleep by her dad. They're running through later what we find to be
like a reservation.
Their reservation. Mm-hmm. And immediately something kills her father. Something's like big and
growling
and stomping through the forest chasing after her.
Right.
She falls, hits her head, and the next moment she wakes up and she's in this what they're calling a hospital.
Right. So it's kind of like an institution for emerging mutants, I guess. It's not exactly like Xavier School for gifted youngsters like in the other ones. It's a step below that. It has more asylum vibes, I guess. And we're pretty quickly introduced to Dr. Reyes, who is seemingly the only adult in this hospital, the only staff in this huge ass facility. Asylum. Yeah. So she's looking after this group of young mutants, and she explains to Dani that her whole reservation was lost in an F5 tornado. Dani knows it wasn't a tornado, but that's just the story she's being told. So she's the last survivor. So she has some survivor's guilt. Mm-hmm. And the doctor pretty much tells her that they have these, meetings with all the other kids in this place. And that's just kind of where they air their feelings and talk. And try and learn how to a share circle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And learn how to control their mutations. And I guess
she hasn't exactly figured out what hers is.
Right.
And I think that's also something that the doctor is trying to figure out as well. Mm-hmm. They just know that she has something with her.
And the other kids have them. They just don't share. Right. At least not in that group.
Right. So the group of kids are all... I think this was probably the first gripe I had with the movie, was all these kids are just super pigeonholed into these stereotypes. Mm-hmm. So you have like the mean girl. You have like the Regina George, who's Anya Taylor-Joy. Her character's name is Ileana. Yeah. She's Russian, I guess. I think
so. Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing is they all have horrible accents that don't sound well. So she apparently has this power to...
I called it a magic arm, but I know that's not what it is.
Right. So whenever she activates, or whatever you want to call it, her right arm...
She becomes like an anime character in a game.
Sure. That's good.
I think that is kind of how it, like, she puts herself into her happy place, as she likes to call it, but it almost feels like game world, like, because even in that fantasy world that she has created, Lockheed is a little tiny dragon, which they don't reveal until the end, because I would have liked her character a lot more. Well, probably not. I like that they put it at the end, but when that happened, I was like, yes.
Yeah. So she's introduced in this share circle, and she has kind of a puppet on her right hand, and it's a little dragon looking thing named Lockheed, and she talks to it, periodically throughout the movie. It's kind of weird.
It is very strange.
They don't really explain what the dragon is about.
No.
But she does have this secret world of hers that she can conjure up when she needs it. Along with
you just know that she suffered some kind of trauma, and I think that's why I forgave her with the dragon for a little while, because she's still supposed to be like a kid, even though she's like a teen, and so that's what it made me think, is like she had some kind of trauma, and she was like leaning on this puppet, or she was a psychopath. It was gonna be one or the other.
And yet they don't go into what her trauma is. They show like what in her manifestations throughout the movie. You kind of see what her demon is, if you want to call it that, which we can go into those in a bit. But there's also Rain, who is Maisie Williams' character. Her thing is that she turns into a wolf. It's very Twilight.
I immediately thought, okay, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, but my thing that I really liked about it, that I kind of started seeing towards like the mid-end, is that Maisie very much reminded me of like, not necessarily play-by-play Logan's character, but she's kind of like the Wolverine in this. And then, Logan's love interest was
Jean Grey.
Yeah, and then Logan's love interest was Jean Grey, and she had this crazy mutant power that she couldn't control, kind of similar to Danny. So I thought they kind of played into that a little bit.
Okay.
And if that's not what they did, that's what I got, and I said,
I can see it. I didn't grab that, but sure.
And so I thought that was kind of cool that they had, like somebody who's pretty confident where they are. They've been through a lot, but they know who they are. And then somebody who's coming into it who's experiencing an incredible amount of confusion. Sure. Because Danny has no idea what her power is. Right. Or how strong she is.
So we also have Roberto, and he's just kind of your stereotypical hot jock Latino guy. And his power is literally that he's hot. And he can...
You literally just shit on his superpower. Like, can you get that hot pants?
No.
That's funny. But yes, continue.
Yeah, he can spontaneously burst into flames, I guess, when he's
gets super hot.
Yeah, when he gets mad. I mean, towards the end he can control it, but throughout the movie,
any strong emotion.
Right. Like throughout the movie he tries to get it on in the pool with Ileana, and he has to back off because his skin is starting to get really hot. So that's his thing. And then there's Sam, who was laughable the whole time. He didn't really do anything. It's the kid from Stranger Things. He plays the older brother, and I know you haven't seen it, but that's who he plays.
Yeah,
and
I'm sorry, I need to get onto that.
And he plays a normal person in Stranger Things. In this, he's playing this kid from Kentucky with the strongest Southern accent that is not consistent. Whenever he gets really frazzled, it's gone. But whenever he's just talking, it's just a super Southern drawl.
I've been waiting a while to do that.
And you just expect him to have like some wheat in his fucking teeth. And his superpower was that he can go fast, I guess. It's stupid.
He takes off very quickly.
Sure.
Well, I think he is very fast too.
I mean, taking off very quickly does make you fast. So, so you didn't like Ileana off the bat,
yes.
right?
I just found her character to be a little bit over the top.
Right. I mean, just very Regina George.
Yes.
I think towards the end, she redeems herself.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I actually liked her in the last act of the movie.
Yeah.
But it's a very quick turn from when you hate her in, like, the next scene, she's redeemed.
Mm-hmm.
It's very quick. But there's really not a huge overarching plot for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much...
It moved very slow in the beginning.
Yeah. They introduce you to each character, and then it's very much just character on character bickering.
Mm.
And they're all just very angsty teenagers. And I think it lingered on that too long. Like, we got it. We got their whole personality the first time around.
Yeah.
But...
it gave it a little time to develop, like, Daphne. Who the fuck is Daphne?
I don't know.
It gave a little bit of time to build Rain and Danny's relationship in the beginning.
True, yeah.
But that's all I really cared about. And
right.
Everything else was kind of just... It needed to have been done different because it was boring. Mm-hmm. Honestly. You just didn't... I couldn't find reasoning behind why these things were happening. Had they developed the characters or shown us their fears more early on, then I think that would have helped the movie quite a bit.
I think if it had more of, like, the horror elements scattered throughout instead of saving all of them for the end, it definitely would have been more entertaining. At least we could have been, kind of waiting for the next scare or whatever was going to happen.
Yeah.
But instead, they just threw it all at the end.
Right.
And there's no jump scares. It's just visual.
Yes.
I think, unless I missed something.
I don't think so.
But, it shows... I think the scariest of the demons would be the smiley face man, which is Ileana's fear, or her deep down whatever.
I don't know. The pastor was pretty freaking scary.
The pastor was scary, but I just think the way that
he branded her, that was dark.
I still don't know what that was.
I think it's for witch.
Oh, they did keep calling her a witch.
Like she was.
I don't know why I was seeing it as an upside down M, which is what a W is. But it's I was like, what does it mutant? No, that's stupid. Yeah.
But no, the back. Well, I mean, maybe, but the one on her back was a W, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's because every time I hear the word witch, I can't not sing it in my head. It's awful. Witch, you're a bitch. Where does that from?
I don't know.
It has Sandra Bullock in it.
Practical Magic.
Yes.
Neely made me watch that. I didn't like it.
No?
Mm-mm.
Oh. Yeah.
I tried. She loved it. I was just like...
Yeah, I really liked that movie. This. I think that was probably just like we grew up in that era. It was like one of the girls' movies. But anyways.
Like Battlefield Earth.
Jesus Christ. So the first time that we kind of see Danny's superpower, because like that's the thing that we're kind of building on, right? Like nobody knows why she's there.
Right.
She gets put into solitary because she got into a disagreement with Ileana. Because Ileana wanted to scare her mutant power out of her. My goodness. Anyways, I love that, like, that mentality, like the mutants are like, we can't hurt each other. They can, but like they can't truly hurt each other unless they really intend to. I don't know how to put it. So they can. Okay, whatever. She's a feisty. She's a feisty one, that one. So I like that she tried to push her to the edge, because that's when it manifests itself most of the time, when you're feeling a really strong emotion. So, so the first time that we start seeing kind of Danny's superpower, because that's the whole thing, is that they're trying to figure out what it is. She has like a fight with Ileana, who is trying to provoke it out of her, and they both get stuck in solitary. So she's sleeping in bed, and that cloud or black hole appears over her and starts snowing, and then the snow turns into blood. And then later we find out that Danny's superpower is that she manifests people's worst fear or darkest secret. So that finally makes sense. because while it was happening, I was quite confused.
Yeah.
I didn't know if they were being invaded or if we were having an insight into what Danny was capable of.
I definitely think it would have suited the story better had they revealed it, not right off the bat, but maybe a little over the quarter mark. Mm-hmm. And so that way we could kind of see what was happening to everybody. Even if she didn't know what it was. If somehow the doctor was, talking to whoever the fuck she was talking to on the computer.
Ideas. Or...
Right. And they were like, I think that she can manifest everybody's, push down emotion shit. So
there should have been something that highlighted that.
Right. That gave us as the audience an idea while leaving them in the dark. Mm-hmm. But alas, that didn't happen.
No. Instead, we just had all these really weird things happening to the kids. But again, we couldn't tell if it was something from the outside or from inside of the facility.
Right. But there is a huge force field dome around the facility. So I guess it would not have been an outside.
You're right. I had forgotten about the force field for a second. But I mean, regardless, like, it was just weird. Like, maybe there is something that can penetrate it. You know they're going to get out eventually. So you're just leaving your mind open to whatever it could be.
Sure.
But it just left you in limbo too long.
Right. So going back to Ileana's whole pseudo backstory with the smiley face dude, you noticed that they were playing Buffy the Vampire Slayer throughout the episode or throughout the show. It's playing on the TV. They leave no question about it that they're playing Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So I did some not very much research, but I found that the episode that they're showing has a villain that super resembles the smiley face man.
I knew it looked familiar. That's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I was never a huge Buffy fan, but I had friends growing up that were.
Yeah, me.
But sure. I just never got into it. But plus Joss Whedon's a creep.
Hi, James.
What does that mean?
I met Spike.
Oh yeah, I was there for that.
I literally just said that.
Oh.
Wow.
I was saying Joss Whedon was a queep. Yeah, I think he was called like the gentleman or something super basic, whatever, in Buffy. I don't know, whatever. I thought that whole sequence towards the end with the multiple smiley face men was pretty entertaining. Marilyn Manson actually played the smiley face man. Yeah, I thought that was cool. Though I expected to see his face whenever the mask came off. It was just like an alien sort of
melty,
weird fucking face.
Phantom face. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I guess he was doing like the motion capture or whatever for it.
Right.
But he is like a tall, lanky dude. But I thought that was cool.
Yeah. It would have been cool to see his face.
Yeah.
They probably would have had to pay him a lot. And so, all these things just keep happening to the kids. I think they're progressively getting worse because Danny's getting more stressed out.
Well, she's now under...
Oh, she was under meds.
Yeah. So she was put under some pretty strong sedatives by Dr. Reyes to kind of try and get into her psyche more and lower her walls. And that kind of spun everybody out because Danny couldn't control of the power that she had. Right. So
it kind of simultaneously starts happening
to everybody. Right.
And I really didn't enjoy the priest. I mean, that touches heavy with me anyway, being in, the gay community. But like, regardless, her being persecuted like that, that freaked me out really bad. But I also don't want Marilyn Manson chasing me, so I don't know which one.
Yeah, his like facial tissue was just really like fucked up. Yeah, it was graphic for like a PG-13.
It changed. Like at one point there was like something like sticking out of it.
Okay.
And then the next part, the prosthetic was different.
Okay,
and
I noticed that too. Yeah.
And then I like relaxed because I was like, oh, that's right. It's
I liked
fake,
it better
Christina.
the first time because
it's fake, Christina.
It looked worse. I liked it better the first time, but whatever. So
No. These are the things that will follow me to the bathroom at night.
gross.
It's terrifying.
Why is a priest following you to the bathroom? Perv.
The priest. Anyways.
So yeah, they kind of, figure out that these things that are manifesting now can actually hurt them. It's not just a part of their imagination.
Mm-hmm.
The smiley face men come out and come after Ileana and Sam.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, even right before that, Roberto witnessed his girlfriend in the pool.
Yeah.
Or like, a burned skeleton.
Right. He thought he was
figure.
in the pool with Ileana.
Mm-hmm.
And they were about to be naughty, right? And then he got too hot and backed off. And then she kind of turned into a burning corpse of his girlfriend. So Ileana was never there. It was just a manifestation who somehow knew to look like Ileana to lure him in.
Yeah.
I wanted to give kudos to Fox's kind of X-Men universe, not for storytelling in any capacity, but for representation. It's something that the MCU has not really done or done well. They say they've had like LGBT characters.
Mm-hmm.
Valkyrie, for instance, and Thor is supposedly bisexual, but the scene saying that in Thor Ragnarok was cut out. So that's the only way we know it.
Mm-hmm.
They're supposed to have an openly gay character coming in with Eternals, but as of now, in the 10 years the MCU has been around, there's not been an LGBT character that's out. So out of all the flaws that the X-Men Fox universe has, I think that's a big thumbs up for me.
Yeah.
Because they do have a same-sex relationship in this movie between Danny and Rain. Yeah. And I mean,
think that's also why I really liked it. I couldn't like I didn't want to like it, but I was like, but it did a really good job there.
Yeah, I mean, they don't shy away from it. Like,
yeah.
like they don't hint at it and then never show it. And they show them kissing and being PG-13 intimate, and they're holding hands at the end when they leave, and it was just really sweet.
Yeah, it was full circle.
In both Deadpool movies, there's a lesbian character, Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
Mm-hmm.
And in the second one, she, has a girlfriend. A very annoying girlfriend, but she has one. And again, they don't shy away from doing that.
Yeah.
And, they don't doll her up in the X-Men movie. She has like a shaved head and, she looks like she could kick my ass. So that's, out of all the faults that these movies have, and there's a very long list of them, that's definitely not one of them.
Yeah.
And so I do applaud them for that. And I hope if Disney and Marvel take anything from the X-Men franchise, and again, I hope it's not a lot, literally just this one thing, I hope they can kind of bring that in and not worry about pleasing everybody and the moms who don't want to take their kids to see something that has a same-sex couple in it or interracial couple or whatever the fuck. So
Yeah.
if you're one of those moms, shut the fuck up. Thank you. Or dads.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was really sweet. It wasn't too over the top. They were just, two young people.
Yep. Yeah. And I think, it could have gotten really cheesy and
Overdone.
yeah, very quickly, especially when, and I hate to say this, but it's true, whenever there's a female same-sex couple on screen and it's like a male filmmaker, it tends to get really sexy and heated really quickly.
Yeah.
And just to please that male audience.
Right.
Like, fucking Google it if you want to see it. Like, don't come to an X-Men movie. But, and these were all like underage kids.
Yeah.
But, I appreciated that. So.
No, I do too. It was really cute because it was just their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have to do anything outside of that.
Mm-mm.
You just enjoyed that.
Yeah, they introduced it like they would any, young love relationship.
Right.
Which was nice. So.
Yep.
off my soapbox.
Okay, I don't want to say I never, but I didn't quite expect Dr. Reyes to be the bad guy that she ended up being. I mean, she has control over these kids. It's really weird that she's the only person there, but you're still kind of trying to figure it out.
I think that was probably budgetary also.
We can only hire 7 people.
Exactly.
That's it.
And we need a wolf.
Oh, yeah. The wolf is costing us quite a bit of money, guys.
Guys, where can we get a dragon?
He was cute.
Yeah, it was a cute little.
He was very cute.
Little Barney baby.
But no, yeah, I don't know. That was a pretty big twist for me. I did. How do I put this? I'm not a psychopath. I'm not a big, you know this about me. I'm not a big person that immediately goes for something that is horror or thriller or anything like that. I did like the twist that I really thought that Dr. Reyes might defend Danny or try and do something to help Danny. Because ultimately that's why she's there. And then she just goes on this monologue about how we're going to offend the veterinary community.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I just had to laugh for a second, okay? About how her mom was a veterinarian and how this story about a dog that they had to put down because it had rabies, and how she felt bad because she couldn't save every patient, but she knew that at the end of the day what she was doing was the right thing. But she's talking about murdering Danny. And that was like a big, oh, okay. Like, we're screwed. Right. And so, Danny starts freaking out, and the manifestations become a little bit more violent of her friends who are undergoing this inside of the building. So, what did you think about fucking Arya Stark leapfrogging again onto the bad guy and wrecking shop?
She's definitely been typecast to do this. So before that, I will say I kind of had an inkling that Dr. Reyes was gonna be the bad guy in this, because they had already kind of steered away from Ileana being the bad one. And I think she was the only other
possible
right
option.
I mean, and even though she again was just like the mean girl.
I was being funny, but I really think there are only 7 people in this movie, right? Dad, Dr. Reyes, and the 5 of them.
I mean, Dad, I wouldn't even count.
He appears twice.
But I mean, it's like the same scene twice. Yeah, I mean, there's 5 kids.
Yeah.
Reyes. And yeah, Dad.
And Dad.
So yeah, I did see her as kind of being the big bad of the movie. What I didn't see coming was that her boss was not Professor X, because they kind of allude. I mean, she mentions over and over again her boss, her superior, and they kind of make it seem like this institution is like a halfway house to get to Professor X's academy. That's the way I saw it at first, and that's where I thought it was going. So the fact that she works for Essex and not Professor X did catch me off guard. But beyond that, I thought it was pretty predictable. Going back to what you said, I did enjoy Rain leaping onto Dr. Reyes when she was trying to euthanize Danny, and she had like her claws out because she hadn't gone full wolf. She was like midway.
That's why I said Wolverine.
Okay, I mean, I'm just
telling
doubting what you said.
You're right. That tone was incorrect, but you know what I mean. That's the first time I saw it.
Her, ripping into Reyes's face and her side. I guess her side was injured afterwards. I wasn't sure how that happened.
I think that she just went like just started beating her at that point.
So that was cool. And then she got Danny off of the solution she was being injected with. She stayed knocked out for a little while, I guess.
Until they woke her up.
To defeat the bear. Yeah.
That was a pretty crazy bear.
The big bad bear.
I liked what they were doing with the bear. I don't think I don't think you're ever going to read that very well on screen. Maybe you can.
Yeah, it does kind of seem like something that would be better suited on paper.
Yeah.
Like in a comic or a cartoon version. I think I would take it more seriously in a cartoon version.
Yeah.
Just because even though I think the bear in some of the close-ups looked okay. Like, it's not that it was a bad-looking CGI. I mean, for their budget, I think it looked good.
Yeah.
All the action scenes, I was impressed with.
Right.
I mean, it's no Battlefield Earth, but it's up there. So...
Right, John?
Get out of here, Johnny.
So stupid. Sorry, I had to. Anyways. Mm-hmm.
Don't invite him here again. He was not a good guest. But yeah, the bear was supposed to be this metaphor for Danny controlling her fear and also kind of her abilities.
A little bit of both.
So yeah, her dad had given her this little bear necklace that was supposed to symbolize her fear, right? The necklace has a little bitty bear on it, and he said that that's the size of your fear when you're born. And as you grow older and experience more of the world, that bear gets bigger and bigger, but always remember that it was once this small, so it's possible to be this small again, right? So anyway, her whole manifestation, like everybody else's, is personal to her, and it's this huge ass black
grizzly bear thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like smoky looking. You don't really see its full body. It's a cool effect.
Yeah. I thought that the bear was going to be her mutant power. Like, she could just bring this freaking bear.
Okay.
And I was like, that's pretty dope. Like, turning your fears around and using it as your superpower.
I mean, that
could still tie in if they were to continue.
that's what I was going to say.
I did like that when she was sitting on the floor, like seeing her dad when he was like, it's okay, you have to wake up now. And she was like, the bear is too big. And he was like, you're bigger.
He wasn't British.
Sorry.
It was Indian American.
When she says the bear is too big, it still sounds stupid.
I mean, I'm keeping the other part in, so you might as well.
Okay, sounds good. But I thought that was cute. I was like, it just brought you back to that moment. And I'm so sorry that you wouldn't know, but I'm just fucking with you. That was too deep. I thought about it too much. I was gonna say it brings you back to those moments you have with your dad. I was like, that's really fucked. I'm gonna do it anyway. My eyes are watering. Alright, sorry.
God. I never knew my father. God, it's hot in here.
It really
like
is.
A witch's titty.
Witch, you're a bitch. Okay.
Okay.
What do you think that caused her? I guess she just hit puberty then, like the night that she was woken up.
Yeah, they mentioned that, or Dr. Reyes mentioned that the mutations start showing around 13, 14. So hers was just late. So I think that probably puts her around 16.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a puberty thing when the mutations start.
But I mean, you know that I guess it happens when she's under a lot of stress. So they don't ever really say what triggered her. I guess she was literally just sleeping. It was the first time, and that's just
at the reservation. Right. I don't know. Yeah, because the movie opens with her waking up. So it's kind of, maybe there was actually a tornado somewhere. I don't know what would shake everything, because even at the end when they're in the church with the bear and the bear's going crazy, not everything is shaking. So I mean, I guess it could also be she's causing her reservation to also see their demons or whatever, because it's not only mutants.
You're right. Yeah.
So maybe that has something to do with
and
it.
it started or ensued that chaos.
Right. So I mean that's a plot hole, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah.
On your thoughts.
But I did appreciate the kind of emotional depth it went to with her having caused the death of everybody in her reservation. And now that survivor's guilt is also guilt in murdering her family.
Right.
So
It's
going to be a really
deep.
lonely family reunion.
Wow.
It's just going to be her.
Yep.
And a bear.
And a bear named Smokey.
No.
And a dragon named Lockheed. All right, Pants. So you're fucked up.
Any final thoughts on it?
I don't have anything else to say about this movie.
No. Okay. I mean, I would just say it.
Except that I thought that Roberto and Sam were going to be gay for like 30 seconds.
I think that'll be too much gay in the movie.
That's what I was like, are we introducing another, like, now this is overboard. Like, one's good.
Are they
just focus on making sure that those two are representing the community, okay?
Are they calling homosexuality a
A
mutation?
mutation.
Awesome. Oh, man.
Stupid.
No, I think the last thing I'll say about it is I was pleasantly surprised by it. It didn't wow me, but I wasn't totally bored 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Half of it could have gone way differently. I am curious to see what would have happened had they actually got to do their reshoots. And it's an interesting concept that this could have been a full-fledged horror movie.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, and it is what it is. But it was good.
Yeah.
Like it was fine. I think it's definitely better than Dark Phoenix, which was kind of supposed to be the official last Fox X-Men movie in universe order. Actually, I think I read where this is supposed to be happening at the same time as Dark Phoenix, but I don't know that for sure, and I don't think it matters that much. And you've never seen it, so this means nothing to you.
Correct.
But it was better than Dark Phoenix. It was definitely better than X-Men Origins Wolverine, and much better than X-Men Apocalypse, but definitely under Logan, under Days of Future Past. And I don't really care about X-Men First Class or the original 3. So that's where it falls for me.
Would you like to hear my overall thoughts, Spence?
Why don't you just say them?
Okay.
Say them.
Oh my god. I was trying to think of where to start, panties. Overall, I feel pretty even with you. I didn't hate it. I think that the first 35 minutes were really slow.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started to pick up a little bit, and I had more interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
But again, they get kudos for doing some things right.
Yeah, they tried. They tried to do something different, and I think at the end of the day, it was just kind of, again, the studio's fault for trying to please everybody and whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Mm-hmm. All right, panties.
Mm-hmm.
On a scale of 1 to 10,
Mm-hmm.
how many beatings from Rainey to the face would you give this movie?
I'm more concerned at who Rainey is.
I've been combining their names this entire time.
I've been trying not to. Yeah.
Hey, Pants.
No, we're not sorry about it. 5 out of 10.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was just right down the middle. Nothing super special, but not terrible. Yeah, 5 out of 10.
I give it a 6 out of 10.
I didn't ask yet, so I don't care.
Oh god, I forgot about your ranking. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So Tina.
Yes, Pants.
Oh, there you are. How many?
Six pence. Pants is just
How
6.
many masturbatory confessional confessions would you give
Oh
this movie?
my god. We didn't cover that.
Something we did not cover was that Maisie Williams' character goes into a confessional in a church and is like, forgive me, Father, I haven't been here in a week. And she lists her sins, and one of them was that she masturbated twice this week. And I just thought it was a very odd thing to put in this movie, but kudos for making her a real person.
Yeah, it's true. That was very strange. I hope you don't actually have to confess that, too. I think you do.
Yeah, I think it's considered a sin.
6. 6 confessional masturbations.
No. That's not what I said.
What did you say?
Masturbation.
Confessionals? Okay.
Now it sounds like you're masturbating in a confessional.
It's not true.
Get out of here with that.
Okay.
Nope, we're keeping that one.
Fine, panties.
So with this being our 10th episode, thank you for listening to us for 10 weeks. If you have, it's been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to kind of do something a little different mid next week. We're talking about doing kind of a bonus episode maybe for Tuesday or Wednesday of next week to give a top 10 ranking of the movies that we watched so far.
Mm-hmm.
So I know a few weeks ago we did give, I think, our top 7, and we've updated that list for New Mutants. We'll probably just take a few minutes and just go down each of our lists.
Yeah. Talk about some of our favorite moments.
Mm-hmm.
The things that made Pants chuckle the most.
Lots of things.
Yeah. Right,
Yeah.
John? For those of you that found that episode super annoying, I'm sorry.
We're
was
gonna
great.
keep bringing it up.
This is us. Welcome.
Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll see if he wants to be a guest on that episode. I don't know if I can get him again.
Oh, that'd be so great.
It was very high maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, y'all have that to look forward to, I guess, if you look forward to things like that.
Yeah.
And now is the time where we roll to see what we're doing next.
Yeah.
And it is Tina's roll.
Oh, I'm really excited.
F is what it has landed on.
F.
All right. So, thank you all so much for tuning in to us for 10 weeks now. We really appreciate it. If you have friends that aren't listening and you think they'd enjoy it, feel free to pass it on. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast. We are streaming the show on YouTube as well. And if you are using Apple Podcasts and you haven't already, go ahead and give us a star rating. And if you could leave a few nice words in the comments, it really helps other people find the show.
You can also follow us on Twitter at WTFDidIWatchPod, where we will post what movie we're going to watch for the week.
But yeah, we're totally open to suggestions. If y'all have some kind of out of the box movies that we probably haven't thought of, feel free to drop them there. And
yeah. I can't take all of your recommendations.
No, we've gotten some weird ones.
Yeah. And listen, Pants and I are pretty open to things, but there are some things we will not watch.
Correct.
So sorry.
Quit sending 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
Yeah, also because we've already seen it.
Yeah. Oh, gross. So,
but I don't want to see anything like that again.
Nope.
So, thanks.
So, yep, that will do it for this week, guys. We will have the bonus episode hopefully posted midweek, and the regularly scheduled episode, as always, Friday morning.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate it. We hope you have a beautiful weekend and a wonderful week.
Wonderful. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. I was going to sneeze that entire time we were doing that, and I was just trying not to get you off of your
I'd like for you to get me off.
Wow. Well played, Spence. Not okay. I'm trying to think of